Hello, I'm Ethan Drinkwater. And today, I was watching YouTube and I actually saw a video that was pretty interesting to me, like heightened in popularity um, through, social media, um, through musicians like, I'm forgetting her name, but it's or a K-pop star. I'm forgetting her name. I just leaked again. Jesus Christ. But it is called Labubus. And actually, what I'm going to be talking about is it's collectibles in a whole, and the I wouldn't say art, but the I guess the pastime of collecting and collectibles. Um, if I say, Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, comic books, you could say sneakers, shoes, cars, or what I was talking about just earlier, Labubus. Those are some of the most popular collectibles, out there and of you know all time for those past. But now Labubus are, I would say one of the most popular ones right now. Um, from my personal experience, most notably from from women, and it's not even just kids, because most of the time people think of collectibles as a kid's thing. Pokemon cards are a kid's toy, not toy, but kids card game, and it's made for kids. And yeah, it is made for kids, but it's all ages. It's all encompassing. Anybody can jump into Pokemon cards. Anybody can buy Pokemon cards. There's no age limit on it. And, I don't think anybody should look down on somebody for buying them, unless there's some certain instances where you could look down on somebody buying Pokemon cards or any collectibles, which is what I'm going to get into in a little bit. But collecting is a hobby, is a pastime that can be enjoyed by anybody, and you can collect anything. T-shirts, vintage things, vintage games, um, uh, bottle caps. You can collect anything. Flags, posters, like whatever. Collecting is an all encompassing pastime, hobby, whatever you want to call it. And it's fun. I myself, it is my guilty pleasure to get Pokemon cards every once in a while. Every time I'm at a GameStop, if there's some Pokemon cards, and recently there's One Piece cards. And as you can see, I'm a fan of One Piece. But if there's One Piece cards, I buy those as well. I'm not necessarily playing the trading card game, but I like opening it and seeing what I get. Some shiny cards look nice. Sorry about the lighting, by the way. I'm not a professional video maker. I'm just in my room, but I digress. Or that's not even how you use that word. But that's besides the point. Collecting. Everybody knows about collecting. I don't need to fully go on a tangent about what collecting is. You get something and you get more of it, and you get different kinds of it, and you just keep adding on to it. Pokemon is one of the best examples of it. The catchphrase is literally "gotta catch 'em all," and Pokemon has an anime with it where he's trying to catch them all. I don't know. I haven't seen the anime in a long time, but I know he tries to go through all the gyms and stuff, and become the best that there ever was. Um, but yeah, Pokemon is one of the best examples of collecting. My dad, as well, collects comic books, and he has been since he was a kid. And that's, oh my god, that's like 50 years ago. That dude's old. But Collecting is not inherently bad. What I want to talk about, though, is how out of hand it has gotten in recent years. From Pokemon exploding in popularity. I'm trying to think of the singularity point. That's such like a lame way of saying it, but I'm trying to think of the exact point in time of when Pokemon card collecting boosted in popularity. And to my mind, it was somewhere in COVID, uh, probably during the lock-in. When everybody had to stay in the quarantines. That's probably when it boosted in popularity. But uh, what I'm trying to bring to light or talk about, I guess, and you don't have to necessarily agree to me, is that it is lame as fuck to collect now. Most people who collect only do it for the money. There used to be people who would collect Pokemon cards just because it was fun and they liked Pokemon. Maybe you watched the anime, maybe you played the games, maybe you genuinely played the Pokemon card game, which, no offense, but if you played the card game, you're kind of a nerd. Nah, it's fine to play the card game. I've just never met anybody who played the card game other than a group of friends and almost my whole school when we were in 6th grade. And we would play the card game, and whoever would lose, we get your cards back. We get to keep your whole deck, whatever. But it's been around forever. Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, those games were, I'm not too sure, but I believe they were before Pokemon, because they're the boomer cards. I've never played Magic. I've never even looked at a Magic card, and I thank God for that. Sorry, that's mean to people who genuinely like Magic, but it looks kind of lame. Anyway, it's just gotten out of hand. Is what is my main point. I've seen loads of videos of what's called scalpers, and scalping is when you go buy the card, and buy the whole stock. New cards come out all the time. For Pokemon, for Magic, and for Yu-Gi-Oh, for all of collectibles. New things come out so often. Scalpers will go out of their way to buy the whole stock of it, or buy so much of it that barely anybody can get anything from it, and then they resell it. They don't use it for themselves, and if they don't resell it, then they're trying to get the best card from it, because that best card from it is going to be worth so much because of how rare it is. And that's the problem with modern day collecting. People are only in it for the money. At this point, it's like gambling, but it's more fun because instead of pulling a little lever and watching little things fly around, you get to open a little card pack and take out some bullshit like fucking Scraggy with his fucking pants down. Like, you get to see his fucking ass. There's some cool art on the card. Maybe it's like a rainbow Charizard, and you get to look at something cool. It's attracted a lot of people throughout the years of people selling these cards and whatever. And scalpers have really ruined the sport and hobby of collecting, for everything almost. Pokemon is the biggest example. When I was a kid, I remember going into a Target, and right next to the checkout, my mom would be checking out with whatever she got, and I would go over to the card section and look at all the little collectible things that they had, and look at the Pokemon cards. They had tins, they had these cards, and there would always be like a big section of it. There would always be enough for everybody. Now, I haven't seen it in any Targets, at least nearby, and I'm pretty sure they removed it from Targets because fights happen. People will fight to get Pokemon cards. And I'm not just saying people. You know who it is? It's scalpers. Scalpers will go to wherever to find Pokemon cards and pay whatever amount of money just to get the whole thing. You've probably been into a Kroger's or maybe a Walmart or something along the lines of a grocery store and seen those Pokemon vending machines. Now, I'm not too sure if you've gone over and clicked the button to look at what they have. Maybe just you were curious to see if they had one of the card packs that you used to enjoy as a kid, or see what's new in the world of Pokemon because you haven't looked at it in so long. Well, sorry, but it's always sold out. They're always sold out. Scalpers buy everything. There's not, to my knowledge, I still don't think there's a limit on how much you can buy from the vending machine. So you could buy the whole thing in one transaction. What scalpers do is they wait for it to get restocked. They know they have like a little network of spies that go around and wait for it to get restocked, and then they get notified and head over there instantly. They will literally sit there and watch it be restocked and then buy the whole thing right after. And they fight because scalpers, they all go there. So it's like a collective of like 5 dudes just sitting there waiting. And it's not just dudes, it's 2025. It's not just dudes, it's women too. It's everybody. Scalpers come in all shapes, forms, and sizes. You could have a little circular scalper, or you could have a rectangular scalper. Do with that information as you will, but scalpers come in all sizes, and they're all horrible, despicable people. It is, at the end of the day, it is a kid's game, and they are ruining the chances of a kid even buying it, just for a little bit of profit. And they make this a career. They make a career out of sitting there like vultures. They're genuinely human vultures for a card game, for Pokemon. Dude, a shiny Charizard ass cannot be that worth your time to just sit there. Get something else. Get another hobby. If you're gonna scalp something, at least scalp some new chunky dunks or whatever from Nike. That's no, don't do that, because I know sneakerheads, they get pretty mad at that as well. But scalping is almost a sport in the world of collecting, and it is in every part of collecting. You cannot go into a collecting sphere without encountering a scalper, because that is, I hope you heard that thunder outside, it's raining, but scalping it's the new thing. Collecting is a relatively old thing. Scalping, it's probably been around since the start of collecting. To be honest, it's probably been there forever, and I just never noticed because I was a kid. But I feel like it's just gotten worse, or it's just more public about what they're doing and how scummy it is. And what I want to talk about is Labubu. I know I brought that up already, but Labubu is they're little dolls. I don't know if you don't know what it is. I implore you to look it up and look at it, because you're probably going to see it one day, or you probably have seen it already. Labubu is not the same as card collecting or comic book collecting or any other kind of collecting, because how you go into it is it's like Genshin Impact. It's like Genshin Impact. It's a gacha. It's a real life gacha game. You get these blind boxes. There's a assortment of what you can get, and you've probably done a blind box when you were a kid, maybe with something like an anime or a random TV show. And your blind boxes have existed for so long. They existed before Labubus and will be here after Labubus, if Labubus ever die off, that is. But it's a blind box, so you don't know what you're gonna get. There's no guarantee unless you rip it open and you look. Most of the time they're encased in a little baggie, so you can't look anyway, which, smart idea. But it's a blind box. They're super rares. The super rares, I'm not too sure if they increase in money, and if they do, it's not that much. My girlfriend actually really likes Labubus and whatever the fucking shit that they have at Pop Mart is. So she likes the Peach Riots as well, and she's gotten a rare of the Peach Riot, and we looked at the price of the rare of the Peach Riot series, and it's not that much. You could get more money with a fat Pikachu card. The Peach Riot, it was like $50. People are reselling it for $50 or maybe a little bit more, so you're getting your money back, but it's not worth it. It really is not worth it. And Labubus, at least with I don't want to talk bad about it because, again, my girlfriend likes it. I've already told her I don't understand it, but Labubus are really not worth it. They're kind of cheaply made. Same with the Peach Riot stuff. I assume most of the Pop Mart things, which Pop Mart is the company, I guess, that sells Labubus and produces them. And all of the Pop Mart things, from what it seems like, are kind of cheaply made. But that's kind of the deal with collectibles. I guess especially new ones. Pop Mart, step up your game. Get higher quality materials to make your things. Because they're shit. They're very cheaply made. And it could be way better, in my opinion. But Labubus only come in color variations, really. There's not too much of a difference between which ones you're going to get. They're most of the time just colored. Or maybe their eyes are a little bit different, or the tooth is not on the right, it's on the left. And they're kind of ugly. They're little monsters. They're little monsters with this weird little grin, and they have a very punchable face. And I guess I can say that, because I'm not into collecting them, and maybe somebody who is into collecting them will find them cute, and there's always something for somebody. But in my opinion, inherently and objectively, they're not good looking. But they have collaborations with different things. Like they had a Coca-Cola collaboration. They had a One Piece collaboration. And, being a One Piece fan, I thought it was kind of cool. For most of the characters, I liked the Frankie one and the Brooke one. The rest of them looked really bad because the faces don't change. I think it kind of fit Brooke. And Frankie's eyes you can't see, so it's just the grin. And that looks kind of good. But the rest of them look pretty ass. But they mark up the prices. Scalpers have taken control of this now. And the problem with Labubus is that Pokemon cards, you can get Pokemon cards almost everywhere. Pokemon cards are being sold at supermarkets, at GameStop. You can get them in malls. You can get them almost everywhere. So the problem with scalping is, it's an issue. And it's really bad, but it's not that bad. You can always still get Pokemon cards. Excuse me, I just had a weird burp in my mouth. A little TMI. But Labubus is different because in physical Pop Mart locations, which new ones are opening up, around America. One just opened up in the mall near me. Labubus you can't even really get in physical stores, to my knowledge. At least the one at Baybrook Mall, the one that I live next to. You can't buy that physically in the store. You have to buy it online and then show up to get it at the store. But there will be huge lines just to get this bullshit. And it's insane. It's insane. Why are you waiting in that big of a line just for that? What people do with them as well is they're little keychains. So they put them on their bags just to flex it. Or if they don't put it on their bag, they just have it in their room, just looking at it. And, you could say the same thing for, that flag. I have that flag in my room just to look at it. There's no practical use for it. I'm not a pirate. I'm not going to fly it up on my ship. But I just have it. Or statues. I have some anime statues. I don't do anything with my statues. I just look at them. They're just nice to look at. And that's the same thing with Labubu. So I'm not hating on that. But it's the Labubu trend is inherently kind of toxic. People buy Labubus just to flex on people that you can't get it. Because they're expensive. They're like $60 for a single box. And you don't know what you're going to get. You could get one that you don't even want. It could be completely dog shit too. You could get one with horrible quality, but once you get it, you get it. I don't think they have a return policy. At least they said that to me whenever we were in there. They don't have a return policy. So if your one is made completely dog shit, it's fucked. Also, resellers and fake Labubus are running rampant because of how expensive Labubus are and how I guess, cheaply they are made, it's super easy to just put a $20 Labubu in the middle of a mall, and some little girl's gonna come by and look at it and be like, I want a Labubu. Mom, can I get a Labubu? And because the main one is too expensive and you can't find them fucking anywhere, you're gonna buy that little fake Labubu. And the face will literally be smashed in for the Labubus. And the community of Labubu collectors on TikTok will call them Lafufus. So it's they're fake. They're not good quality Labubus, and they're very obviously fake. There will be slight differences with them to where you can tell. And I think that's a problem. I feel like the Labubu market and community is oversaturated, and now it's becoming like a luxury item, and it really shouldn't. It's stupid. Excuse my language, but it's stupid. And Marie, if you're watching this, I'm sorry for saying this. I love you, and we can get as many Peach Riot collectibles as you want, but Labubus are stupid. And because there's a difference between plushies and stuffed animals than Labubus. At least a stuffed animal I can have on my bed and just sit there. I'm not gonna put a Labubu on my bed. That thing looks ugly. But yeah, I don't really get it. And I'm glad that people have, something to work for and work towards and try to get. But the market for it is just crazy. And it's a trend to like this. And it's a trend now. Everything can be a trend now. And I guess that just speaks to us as a society. But it's a trend to like it. And it's a trend to buy one, put it on your thing, and, flex that you have one. Because people can't get one. And whenever you have one, it's like saying, yeah, I'm better than you. I'm a little bit more rich than you. And I could afford one, and you can't find any, or you can't afford any. And that's kind of sad. It's kind of sad to walk around with this ugly looking doll on your designer bag. Just get another designer bag and put it on your designer bag if you really want to flex something. And again, this is all personal opinion, but objectively, scalpers are ruining it. They buy so many to where it just gets sold out, and you have to wait. And I didn't say this, but Labubus get sold out very easily, and they get sold out on the website, and you can't get any more. You have to wait a while for it to get restocked on the website, and then you can buy again. But you don't have a 100% chance of buying it again because they have this weird way of having you buy it. And I'll actually bring it up on my phone to show you. Okay, so I got it on my phone, and to my knowledge, Pop Mart started as a online store, to buy whatever they have. They have multiple things. It's not just Labubu, but Labubus are their most popular thing currently. And as soon as I look up Labubu, let me try to get it in view. That gray thing, I can't bring it too close. Oh, there it goes. That says out of stock. Everything is out of stock. Literally everything is out of stock. Let me try to have it focus. Well, I can't, but sorry, I'm doing this off of a little computer. It's not good quality, but everything, literally everything is out of stock. All their Labubu shit is out of stock. Labubu more like out of stock, or LeBron. This thing is wait, I stand corrected. This is not out of stock. It is the Monsters Wacky Mart series display container. Oh, here we go as well. Wacky Mart series. I don't know if this is a new series or not, but this is actually in stock. So let's say we want to buy this. Holy fuck. You can get one that is corn. A corn Labubu. Come on, focus. Oh, there you go. See that right in the middle? I don't know if you saw it or if it went away too fast. That is a corn Labubu, and right next to it is a shrimp Labubu. And a chip bag Labubu as well. So, if you want a corn Labubu, go ahead and buy the Wacky Mart series. Um, but to buy Labubus, they have this little game on. Oh, the launch time hasn't even started, so I can't buy. Oh, they did put a limit. Oh my god. Well, this video is just obsolete now. They put a limit now, so it's per customer. It is 2 single boxes, so you can only buy 2 single boxes per customer, which that's not bad. Putting a limit is always pretty good for these kind of things, so people don't overbuy and buy the whole thing. But people do get around that by making multiple accounts or buying it off of different, phones, computers, whatever. And this video's already gotten way too long, almost 30 minutes. So I'm just going to end it by saying this. A whole summary of the video is collectibles. It's as it is a fun hobby. It is also getting really, I guess, normalized, and I wish it became a niche again to be a collector of anything. Scalpers ruin everything, and if you are a scalper, end your life. Not seriously, but end your scalping life and go find a real job. And if that isn't your real job and you have a real job, get a new hobby. Go crochet, go knit, go outside, touch grass, do something else with your time. Scalping is just ruining it for everybody, even other scalpers. Like you yourself are probably getting your business ruined by other scalpers. Just do something else with your time, please, from everybody in the collecting community, in any community, not even in the collecting community. Just do something else. Make more contributions to society other than buying collectibles and upscaling the price to little children because they have FOMO. Collecting's cool. Labubus are cool if you like it. I don't understand the craze with it. And if you're looking to buy a Labubu, be safe. Save your money if you really want one. Don't buy a fake one, please. And if you really want one and you're like, but the price is too much, don't buy it. It's not worth it. It really is not. You do not need a Labubu to put on your bag and flex to everybody else that you got a Labubu, because no one's gonna care. You're not in preschool or fucking middle school anymore. Nobody's gonna care what you have on your bag. Be yourself. Do whatever you find enjoyable, and don't worry about others' opinions. Opinions, I meant. Yeah, that's ending it off. And if you watched this whole video, I applaud you. Thank you for listening to me ramble on. This is what happens when I don't make a script for a video that I thought of in the heat of the moment. I'm not going to say there's going to be more videos if you are actually looking forward to more videos by me and you do enjoy these, because there probably won't be for a while. But if I do feel like making a video, be sure to watch it and like it and subscribe if you want to. Yeah, collecting, not that cool anymore. It's not niche, so it's not cool. Yeah, but yeah, thank you for watching. This is Ethan Drinkwater signing off. Bye.